Hi guys, it's me Aileen. Welcome to the Little Karate Show. You guys are always welcome for additional information about my podcast show and the show to my website, eileenlittlekarate.com. I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough about this, one of my first mixed media books. If you guys want to try mixed media and just have scrapbooking supplies, this is the page for you right here. And there's a few more. I use a lot of my supplies from scrapbooking. I do a lot of scrapbooking, card making mainly, and then recently I got into mixed media, and I wanted to share some of that with you guys. So I barely had any supplies, and I used all of my scrapbooking. Like, this is scrapbooking paper, a chipboard piece, texture sprays, and then later on I got into getting some texture paste, shimmers. This is a chipboard piece. This is some Tim Holtz leaves. So yeah, as you can see, I used some washi tape over here, a lot of scrapbooking elements here and there. So this one I actually tried to make my own texture or some type of paste. I forgot, texture paste. I followed a recipe online. This one right here is just basically very simple. It uses, I think, some of that same texture paste or some texture paste from Shimmers that I first got. And this is just a chipboard Halloween piece. I backed it up with some decorative tape, and this is just some hands that I made. This is my husband and my hands, and this is stuck to his part. And this one I started to get into really heavy with stencils, some scrapbooking paper, some ribbon that I had. This is a doily. This is some paper book text that I got from an Etsy shop, some cheesecloth. And then this is a stencil. I believe I got this one at Michael's, not 100% sure. This is just some, I believe, crackle paste, acrylic paint. I love working with acrylics and stencils a lot. And so this is how it started. This one I actually had a house, a chipboard house, and I just kind of traced it, and then I just decided to do some work on it. Basically, this is all the background is all scrapbooking paper, and I just use some, what did I use to put it down? Either let me show you so you guys can see. And that's just some gelatos. I use gelatos. I use paint. I used some gelatos, paints, and acrylic paints. To put it all down, I either used soft gel medium or some Mod Podge. And so that's how this end print I use. And this one, I really started using some stencils. I kind of just was doodling. I got this from online, and some of it is just some scrapbooking paper, you know, that I wanted to use up, and this is basically a very simple page that uses gelatos and a Sharpie. Just really has that texture to it. And then this is just me with my handwriting and some stencils from Stencil Girl. Started loving their stencils. This is definitely Stencil Girl products. I think these are the exclusive stencils that I use. So this is like a total Stencil Girl page, and basically it's like Mother Nature, look like pods, and stuff like that. This one is one of my favorite stencils, because it kind of reminds me of New York. I mean, it could be pretty much any city, but it kind of reminds me of where I used to live at, and this is just basically some spray inks, and this is just, I believe, some texture paste with some paint in it. I forgot the color, or that's the texture paste the way it came. I really love using a lot of texture and using the supplies that I have. This one, when in doubt, add layers, is a bunch of different stencils. I think this is just from Stencil Girl, but just acrylics and some paper kind of stuck to it. Just having, as you can see, I gotta glue it down, but you guys get the point. Let me see. So that's that. This is a jelly print, and I just kind of traced out my hand. Again, this is just even some paper, some writing paper, and I just used a lot of acrylic paints for this one, and some Tim Holtz stain, or yeah, so I think it's in silver. Again, this one isn't done. It's just a bunch of different papers and some stencils. A lot of different types of acrylics. This is a this one is done. I love this one. This is the doily stencil from Stencil Girl, and another stencil in the background. Just a bunch of different layers with it. A lot of different paints, I believe, and some spray inks on this one. I love this one, and I just recently added the dash lines. I'm not going to do anything because I really love the way the stencil, it's not perfectly down the middle. I was trying, but I just love how this stencil came out. I mean, the jelly print came out, and I just was like, I'm just going to leave it. I don't want to cover it up. So this one definitely is done. This one is done as well. Another Stencil Girl stencil. Again, the doily. It looks so different anytime you work with it with different colors. It's just sometimes when you have to be bold, sometimes you have to be bold and bright, even when you don't want to. I just kind of was feeling a little, didn't want to do anything, so I just dusted myself off and got myself going. Love that one. This is another Stencil Girl stuff, and it's just basically peace and love. Love this particular page. This one was really fun to work on. And this one, I have no idea what I'm going to be doing. Once again, stencils, a bunch of different papers from a previous, I guess, jelly printing, and just working like stickers that I didn't use. This is just some stickers from scrapbooking stuff. And this is basically I just used some texture paste and some paint and some sprays. And this one is a Seth Abner stamp. He's stencil from Stencil Girl, and I just went to town on this, and I left it like that because his stencils are like really detailed, and I just was having so much fun, and it just was really cool. This one I haven't finished yet. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Just some ink and actually some acrylics and some gesso. That's all I did with this page. And this one, I really loved it. This is some of the Seth Abner stencil that I use this for the background, and another Stencil Girl. I love this because I'm not a real pink person, but I thought that the flowers needed it. This was the first time I ever used the High Flow from, what is that? The Quidex. Love that. And I like brick wall stencils. I don't know what it is about them, so I have like a bunch of different ones. This one uses Stencil Girl, some, I forgot what is this? What did I use for this? I think just some black paint, and then or just some gesso, black gesso. As you can see, this has a bunch of different texts, and so yeah, so probably some book text and some washi tape, or this is when you hit a brick wall. We all hit a brick wall from time to time. It's how you break through. through it that counts. So that's my little quote to myself. Again, scrapbooking paper that I wasn't too sure what I was going to do. This is one of my favorite scenes from one of my favorite movies. It can't rain. It can't rain all the time, and that's from The Crow. Originally, I used, for the quote, I used some high flow, the green paint, the green acrylic one. No, high flow acrylic in green. I forgot the exact name. But then I came in with a fine tip Sharpie, and I love how it accents the green and stuff like that. I thought it was meant to be. This one, once again, some more of that scrapbooking paper, some high flow, and I used some of, I worked with, I think, my catalyst with this one. It has like a 3-prong, and it helped me kind of get that texture. I just flicked it with different types of acrylic greens. This one I haven't figured out what I'm going to do. I feel like I'm missing a page. Yeah, this one not done, and this one not done. This one I did during the 4th of July. It was really fun. This is the first time that I got my Faber Faber-Castell pens. This is just some spray ink, some on the bottom, and I used, it was so funny, I had a cutout of a butterfly from my Cricut, and I just traced over it, and I just started doodling like that. It was really cool. I loved it. Used all the pencils, I mean all the pens, and just outlined it with the Sharpie, I think, or was that a Faber-Castell bold tip pen? Yeah. So either one would work nicely for that, if you guys are thinking about doing that. This one is a work in progress. Don't know. This one I started. Don't know. It was supposed to be a tree. This one I started. I don't know if I want to cover it up, or I just use basically a fine tip, what is that? Sharpie. This one is another Seth Abner. I just kind of stencil from Stencil Girl. I kind of use just different pieces. Change Inside You. Love this one. Just actually, this one I got some colored pencils, and I was just kind of itching to use them, so I saw the stencil and I started just working on it. That happens a lot. I don't always film everything, but I like this one. Don't know if I'm going to add to it. And yeah, so this is the latest one that I'm working on. Sometimes I skip pages, and I just started doodling. I was in the mood to doodle, and I didn't have the camera on. I'm still recovering from my backache or back issues, and so yeah, so that's just me playing around doodling here and there, and don't know where I'm going to go from here. But so yes, I haven't really like stopped. I just basically haven't been filming because the camera is always downstairs, or I'm just not in the mood, or whatever. So basically, let me show you another cool feature of this. As you can see, it has it has a bit of a pocket. So yeah, so I really like it. This is really cool. Love the closure. So that is my first mixed media book that I still haven't finished, but we'll plan on finishing it soon. I'm not in a hurry. So anyway, guys, so basically that's it. If you guys are haven't ever started mixed media, as you can see, you can start off with whatever supplies you have on hand. That's the ticket. Even if you have like stuff like, you know, old supplies from your kids that they don't use anymore, you can use that. I've used my son's old school work that he brought home from one summer. I saw this particular page. It's not in this one, but yeah, I want to do that again. I'm looking at his old schoolwork that I have, and I'm like, ooh, maybe I might cut this up and use it. I don't know. But yeah, so that's basically it. I have another one that I'm working on. I'm going to start. This one's a huge one, so I don't know if I'll ever start that soon. I started with the cover, so, but I'll be introducing that soon. But maybe I might start with this one, or maybe even a size bigger for my fixed media Monday, and I might do that one monthly, or every 2 months or something like that, because I want to do my scrapbooking stuff. But so yeah, so that's everything in a nutshell. I hope that you guys are having an awesome day. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.